Childhood of Jesus, The Lost Gospel of James. The 11th of August, 1843. Chapter 10, The Roman Census. The traitor, Annas. 2 weeks after this event, a great council was held in Jerusalem, since it had been heard from some Romans residing there that the emperor was going to count and register all the Jewish people. This news was a great shock to the Jews, for whom counting people was forbidden. Therefore the high priest called a large assembly, at which all the elders and the craftsmen, such as Joseph, were to attend. Joseph, however, had undertaken a trip into the hills to collect timber and was away for several days. Since the messenger from Jerusalem who had come to see Joseph in order to deliver the invitation to the great assembly was not able to meet him, he informed his eldest son to notify Joseph immediately upon his return. Joseph already returned home the next day. His son Joseph informed him immediately about the news from Jerusalem. But Joseph said, "Since I have been climbing around in the hills for 5 days, and I am very tired, my legs will not carry me any further if I do not rest for a few days. So this time I am not compelled to follow Jerusalem's summons. Besides, this assembly is worthless, since the mighty Roman emperor, who now wields his power even over the lands of the Scythians, will take little notice of our advice and will do whatever he pleases. That's why I will stay put at home." But after 3 days, a certain Annas came from Jerusalem, who was an important scribe there, and said to Joseph, "Joseph, you who are skilled in the crafts in the Scriptures and who are from the tribe of David, I must ask you why you did not come to the assembly." Joseph turned to Annas and said, "See, I was in the hills for 5 days, and did not know that I had been called. When I came home and received the news from my son Joseph, I was too tired and weak to be able to travel to Jerusalem at once. Besides, I anyhow recognized at first glance that this whole assembly would be of very little use, if at all." While Joseph was telling this, Annas looked around and unfortunately discovered the highly pregnant virgin. At this, he left Joseph without a word, and hurried as fast as he could to Jerusalem. Arriving completely out of breath, he hurried to the high priest and told him, "Listen to me, and do not ask me why David's son did not come to the assembly, for I discovered scandalous horrors in his house. See, Joseph, to whom both God and you bore witness by entrusting him with the care of the virgin, has failed in front of both God and you so profoundly and coarsely that it is beyond words." The high priest was appalled by Anna's message and asked shortly, "Why? How come?" "Tell me the whole truth, or you will die this very day." Anna said, "See the Virgin Mary, who, as God bore witness, left the temple of our Lord to be placed in his care, has been most thoroughly dishonored by him. Her advanced pregnancy is a living proof of it." But the high priest said, "No, Joseph would never do such a thing. Can God fail in bearing witness?" But Anna said, "So send your most trusted servants there, and you will be convinced of the virgin's state of advanced pregnancy. However, if she is not, you can have me stoned to death right here." End of chapter 10.